We're back for part 2, How to Survive Your 20s, with Rosianna as a special guest.
Real 20-year-old something.
We ran out of time last time. We were talking about how to survive your 20s. We had a couple of topics left, so we figured we'd continue in this video. If you have not seen part 1 yet, you should go watch it. There's a card appearing right now, and a link will be in the description. The dreaded Facebook updates of people getting engaged and having babies and buying houses, and also how to stop comparing yourself to other people.
So with regard to like the Facebook updates, on the one hand, like I am so thrilled for those people. I'm so happy for them, and it's really exciting, but it can be really overwhelming at the same time, because I think you grow up consuming a lot of things that tell you, oh, when you get to your 20s or whatever age, everyone will start getting engaged, and you're like, well, not really, like I'm not there in my head, or you might be there in your head, but I'm not. And so you then start seeing it in real life and you're like, oh, it's true. And because all of that media has also told you, I think, or all that kind of culture around it has also told you that you will feel behind, then I think you do start to feel behind almost as like a learned reaction to it.
I always forget, like when I see people get engaged, that's a normal age. I always feel like everyone around me is still 21. But
when you just kind of stop and think, I am my own person, I am in my own situation, this person is their own person in their own situation, so don't get judgy. Don't do it. Judgy. Yeah, just respect their autonomy of their lives and respect your autonomy of your life, and then find ways to be excited about these things. You'll see a lot of big life events, and because of the way that we interact with one another through social media especially, you see them in a very concentrated way,
and you just get the highlights.
Yeah,
you get other people's highlights. You don't know what else is going on. Also, when you think about comparing to like how your friends are doing or how other people's careers are going, like everyone's in different situations.
Yeah,
people get lucky, people work really hard.
I mean, it is that thing of like comparing your behind the scenes to someone's highlight reel. I think that for me, I heard that a lot in 2015, and I definitely
2K15.
That really hit home for me. I think that the best visual representation we have of that is Instagram. It's very aspirational, and it's kind of charged by a sort of aspiration, but it's very curated and it's very selected.
Babies.
Anyway, babies.
Next one we have is deadlines. This is a really big one for me that I'm really bad at, because this
what kind of deadlines?
So taxes, things like applying for a job or handing in important papers. There's a lot of stuff when you become an adult that there will be no one around to remind you to do it. It is your sole responsibility to get shit done.
Were you like that at school as well?
Oh yeah, I'm horrible. Yeah. I always get stuff in on time, but it only takes a slight thing to go wrong for me to be like 10 minutes late or like a day late. I work really well on self-motivation. I got in a lot of trouble the first year I did taxes because I was sort of like, oh well, I'll have 3 days to do it, it'll be fine, and then something went wrong. And then I was like, oh, nope, not fine.
Really don't leave your taxes to the last minute, especially if you do self-assessment, but in any case, because
you have to like plan for things to go wrong.
Yes.
Always think there could be 3 things that go wrong.
I found this year, this is the first year that I haven't submitted my taxes in January. I submitted them in November, and that made the biggest difference. Firstly, for my ease of mind, it wasn't like this bubbling thing underneath, because I would always submit them around like January 11th, January 12th, and the deadline in the UK is January 31st for filing online.
But that's already so early.
And it's already early, but at the same time, if I have an issue, which I have had problems before that I need to talk through or get advice on, so I call up the hotline, I found that if you call in November, because they're not as overloaded and they're not getting as many calls, they really have the time and the ability and the energy to talk you through your problems and make you feel like you have a solid understanding of what it is you're doing.
You can make your own life so much easier by just working ahead. Also, related to this, sort of have one folder that has all the important things in your life in it.
And scan everything. Like if you have a scanner, or like if you have one of those apps on your phone that lets you take pictures of things for scanning, I think that's really helpful, because in my move to the US, there were some things that I couldn't find. I had no idea where they went, and I think they just were like lost somewhere in one of the many moves.
Accidentally throwing them out. It's literally, there's a couple of documents you will get in your adult life that you just need to have.
Yeah.
Put them all in the same folder, super important folder.
Yeah.
And then you'll be fine. This is one of my favorite questions, which was, what do you do if you have no clue what you want to do when you come out of university? Which I find hard, because I did know.
Yeah.
I've always known what I wanted to study. I've always known approximately what I wanted to do. Mostly through trying other things, I figured out what it was that I really wanted to do.
I think I'm slightly different but similar. Like I knew that I wanted to study English at university. I knew that of all the fields that had been presented to me as careers, my mainstream career, aside from like doing YouTube things and writing and doing all that stuff, the career I wanted to spend my day doing, I thought was publishing. But that's because I felt quite limited to this career-driven thinking. And so I think one thing you have to do is definitely, again, we've said this before, but talk to your friends and discuss and find out about their jobs. What is their day like? What happened to them this day? What projects are they really excited about? Do they see themselves as loving their job right now, or do they see themselves as having to put a couple years in and then reaping the benefits of the job? And what of all of those things do you value? And I think that that will help you build at least some sense of it. But if you still don't know and you're 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30 onwards, that's completely normal. You don't know how many other people don't know them. So many other people have no freaking clue.
I think you will find things that you enjoy doing. You might not think about the fact that they could be a job.
Yeah.
You might just have hobbies, or you might have interests that you just have never been presented with as this is a job you can have. Because I remember in high school they were like, okay, out of all these things, which one appeals to you most? And I was like, being an architect. But I never fathomed that those could be jobs.
Yeah.
And I think because the people that are teaching you are from a generation above you, they might not even know that the job that you want exists.
Well, yeah, that's true. And I think in many ways it might not exist yet. When I was having those careers conversations, yes, I was doing YouTube already, but it wasn't an idea that it would become this thing, or or the people working in it didn't have the foresight to see all of that. There are so many jobs right now as well that I don't even know about, and I think that's the other side of it. You might have to do some kind of internship style stuff as well. I think that's also really helpful. Ideally paid, but we know that the world is cruel.
This is an important one, and it's one that people might not think about as a problem, but finding time to spend time with your friends. It's one of those things that as you get older and you have a job, you'll do a lot of like, oh, but I'm tired. Rosianna is the person in our group of friends who's like, right, let's go do things. Everyone's coming.
And if you bail, I hate you. It's funny, I was having a conversation with, I think it was with John before I moved over, and I was really tired and kind of stressed out, and there was this evening planned that we'd all planned, and for once I was like, I just don't feel like going, and he was like, just bail on going. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna bail. And so I texted around, and then an hour later I was like, nope, I can't do it, I feel bad, I've got to go. And because for me, especially, as an extrovert, all of that stuff, I get a lot of energy from other people, and it's very helpful for me to be around other people. The time that we can choose to spend around people that we like and have experiences that are with other people is really valuable.
I also feel like you forget how good it is to be with friends.
Yeah.
And then when you're in that situation, you're like, this is amazing, I should be doing this all the time. I think for me what really helps is setting up low pressure activities. I might not want to go out with a giant group of people and do all this stuff, but I'll go to that person's house and we'll watch film together.
Even if it's just like, I'm passing through this station on my way home, you're passing through this station, let's both grab a snack on our way back and you can tell me about that one thing. It's one of my deep set things that I think that friends are so valuable and so important and are like an extended or entirely different kind of organism from your family, and that is something that you should surround yourself with, because I think it can be greatly beneficial to your well-being.
Final advice is something that I read online, which I really love, and that is someone asked their dad, how do you know when you've become an adult? And their dad said, you never become an adult, you simply just start encountering things for the second time instead of the first time. So as an example, it was like, if you have a flat tire, the first time you're panicking, you don't know what to do. The second time, you might still be panicking. You might not know entirely what you need to do, but you've done it before.
You know you've become an adult, or you kind of feel like you've become an adult when you have a bit more perspective on things, and you can kind of step out of a situation, look at it and like assess it in a different way from when you're really within it and you feel very taken over by it. Adulting. Do you separate your colours from your darks?
I do a whitewash and a dark wash.
Do you do a colours wash?
No. Dude, who has time to do colour washes? That's some advice for surviving your 20s. It was a long, long journey. If you guys have any wisdom to leave in the comments, we'd love to hear it.
Feel free to disagree with us on everything.
Go subscribe to Rosianna's channel at youtube.com/Rosianna, and we will see you guys later. Doei!
Hell me cool.